High in the clouds of the Peruvian Andes, perched between steep peaks and misty valleys, lies one of the world's greatest archaeological marvels, Machu Picchu. Built over 500 years ago by the mighty Inca civilization, this city of stone seems to defy gravity and logic. But how, without iron tools, wheels, or even draft animals, did the Incas build such a masterpiece of engineering? Today, we dive deep into the secrets of its construction, the materials, techniques, and ingenuity that made Machu Picchu possible. Around the mid-15th century, during the reign of Pachacuti Inca Yupanqui, the Inca Empire was expanding rapidly. To celebrate his victories in divine rule, Pachacuti ordered the creation of a royal estate, a retreat in the mountains, a place closer to the gods of nature. That place would become Machu Picchu, meaning Old Mountain, in the Quechua language. The Incas didn't just choose this site for its beauty. They selected it because it sat on a ridge between two sacred peaks, Machu Picchu and Huayna Picchu, in a region they believed was charged with spiritual energy, or huaca. But building here would mean conquering not an army, but the mountain itself. Before any stone was cut or placed, the Incas began with a careful survey of the terrain. They studied the slope, the bedrock, and the direction of water flow. Using only simple sighting instruments, possibly wooden frames and stretched cords, they aligned the city with celestial points, ensuring that key structures like the Intihuatana Stone would mark the solstices with perfect precision. Once the site was blessed through ritual, offerings of coca leaves, corn beer, and llama fat to Pachamama, the Earth Mother, the real work began. The core material of Machu Picchu is granite, a stone abundant on the very ridge where the city stands. Instead of importing stone from far away, the Incas quarried it directly on site, cutting into the mountain itself. You can still see unfinished blocks and quarries scattered around Machu Picchu, silent witnesses to the massive labor that took place here. But how did the Incas cut and shape granite without steel tools? They used a combination of stone hammers, bronze chisels, and harder rocks like diorite to pound, chip, and smooth each block. The process was slow, deliberate, and incredibly precise. Workers would heat the stone with fire, then douse it with cold water, causing cracks that could be exploited with hammerstones. Every block was then refined by hand, fitted perfectly without mortar, in a technique known as ashlar masonry. The Incas' stonework remains one of the most astonishing feats in world architecture. Their walls were made by carefully shaping stones so that each one locked perfectly with the others. Not even a blade of grass could fit between them. This wasn't just aesthetic genius, it was earthquake engineering. The Andes are a seismic zone, and the trapezoidal shapes of the windows and doors helped the structures flex and settle during tremors rather than collapse. The Incas understood, perhaps intuitively, that rigidity breaks, but flexibility endures. Each stone was tested, adjusted, and shaped repeatedly. Workers used sand and water as abrasives, rubbing stones together until the fit was flawless. No mortar, no binding material. Just gravity, geometry, and the patience of a civilization that viewed architecture as a form of worship. One of Machu Picchu's defining features is its series of agricultural terraces that step gracefully down the mountainside. These terraces were not just for farming, they were also the city's foundation and drainage system. To build them, workers first carved retaining walls of stone. Behind these walls, they filled layers of gravel, sand, and fertile topsoil brought up from the valley below. This layering ensured perfect drainage, preventing rainwater from eroding the slopes. The terraces also acted like natural temperature regulators, allowing crops such as maize and potatoes to grow at different elevations. And perhaps most importantly, they stabilized the entire site, preventing landslides in this humid, steep environment. Access to Machu Picchu was part of a greater network. The Capac Ñan, or Royal Road, stretching over 40,000 kilometers across the empire. Skilled Inca road builders carved stone staircases into cliffs, built suspension bridges from woven ichu grass, and paved paths with flat river stones. These roads allowed llama caravans and workers to transport goods, tools, and food to Machu Picchu's remote location. However, for the heaviest stones, the Incas likely used wooden rollers, levers, and ramps, aided by hundreds of laborers pulling in coordinated teams. There's no evidence of the wheel being used, yet the logistics rival modern engineering. In the mountains, water management is everything, and the Incas mastered it. At Machu Picchu, they designed an intricate system of fountains, channels, and drains that still function today. A natural spring located above the city was captured and diverted into a stone canal system. This channel flowed through a series of 16 ritual fountains, each precisely cut into the stone. The flow rate was regulated through small notches, the earliest known form of hydraulic engineering in the Andes. Every drop was guided with purpose: for drinking, for ritual cleansing, for agriculture. Meanwhile, a network of underground drains kept rainwater from flooding the site, proof that the Incas understood not only stone, but soil, gravity, and water. At the heart of Machu Picchu stand its most sacred buildings: the Temple of the Sun, the Room of the Three Windows, and the Intihuatana Stone. These structures weren't placed at random. They were aligned with astronomical events, especially the solstices and equinoxes. The Temple of the Sun, for instance, is a semicircular tower built atop a natural rock outcrop. During the June solstice, sunlight enters through its window and perfectly illuminates a carved altar, connecting the Inca ruler with Inti, the sun god. To achieve this precision, Inca architects used shadow tracking, line-of-sight alignments, and solar observation. Their engineering was guided by cosmology, each structure blending science, spirituality, and geometry. Without iron, wheels, or draft animals, how did the Incas move and shape hundreds of tons of stone? Their toolkit was simple yet effective. Hammerstones made of harder rock like diorite or basalt, bronze chisels for finer carving, wooden levers and rollers for transport, and ropes woven from ichu grass. Strong, flexible, and biodegradable. But their most important resource was labor. Under the Inca system of mita, each community contributed workers for state projects: miners, masons, farmers, engineers, and priests, all playing their part. Thousands of laborers, organized with military precision, worked year-round under the supervision of architect-engineers called Pirca Kamayak. They worked not for pay, but as service to the empire and the gods. When the Great Walls were complete, wooden beams and ichu grass thatch were added for roofing. These organic materials have long decayed, but their impressions remain in the stone. The Incas also built ritual plazas, granaries, and residential quarters, each with its own drainage system. Even small details, like niches carved for offerings or stone pegs for securing ropes, reveal a civilization obsessed with both function and perfection. Every inch of Machu Picchu was designed to be in harmony with its landscape. It wasn't imposed upon nature. It grew from it. At its height, Machu Picchu likely housed 400 to 800 inhabitants: priests, nobles, artisans, and servants. They tended crops on the terraces, worshipped at the temples, and maintained the sacred site. Lamas provided wool and transport. Ceremonies honored the gods of the sun, rain, and mountains. Life here was balanced between the spiritual and the practical, the divine and the earthly. After the Spanish conquest in the 16th century, Machu Picchu was abandoned, hidden by jungle and time. It remained untouched for centuries, until 1911, when Hiram Bingham, guided by locals, brought it to the world's attention. But make no mistake, Machu Picchu was never lost to the Andean people. It remained a place of legend, whispered in the valleys below. Even today, engineers marvel at the resilience of Inca architecture. The stone walls have survived centuries of earthquakes, landslides, and rain, while many modern structures often crumble. Their mastery of drainage, foundations, and geometry was centuries ahead of its time. Modern surveys show that over 60% of Machu Picchu's construction lies underground. Foundations, retaining walls, and drainage channels that support everything above. It's as if the Incas built from the inside out, prioritizing stability before beauty. Machu Picchu is more than an archaeological site. It's a testament to harmony between human ambition and the natural world. The Incas believed they were children of the sun, tasked with caring for the earth, not conquering it. Every stone laid here reflects that philosophy. They built not to dominate nature, but to live within it, to align themselves with the mountains, the rivers, and the sky. 5 centuries later, Machu Picchu still stands, not only as a monument of stone, but as a reminder of what humanity can achieve when it builds with purpose, respect, and reverence for the world around it. Machu Picchu is the story of how humans and nature work together to create something eternal, a city in the clouds, carved from living rock, guided by stars, and sustained by water.